exposition on our dear sister, Maya Angelou.
Amen.
I like to coin this exposition a transcendent treasure. Dr. Seuss says, many of us never value the moment until it becomes a memory. And so this morning I want to value this moment, first giving honor to the pastor, the leader of Giant Steps, to his leadership, but also to my brother David, fellow panelists, my Morehouse brothers, because it was at Morehouse where we learned and we heard and we felt and we experienced these type of moments that we now apply to our memory as we transpose what it is that our future needs to look like. Maya Angelou, a transcendent treasure. Born Marguerite Annie Johnson on April 4th, 1928 in St. Louis, Missouri. She was raised in a domestically abusive household. Her father would vehemently beat, rape, and reduce his mother on a consistent basis. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and over again.
All right.
At age 3, she was forced by her father to live with her grandmother in Stamps, Arkansas, where her brother renamed her Maya for my sister. At age 7, as we heard in the video, she was raped by her uncle. He was arrested, found guilty, but released from prison 1 day later. That sounds all too familiar.
Yeah.
4 days following his release from prison, he was murdered. And at this point, we enter into the mind and voice of our dear sister, Maya Angelou. She said, it was said, that she was silent for 5 years. Someone say 5 years.
5 years.
Not speaking, not writing, or barely interacting with anyone following the murder of her uncle, the abusive, evil, and violent, and sick child molester. Maya believed that it was her voice, someone say voice, that had her uncle put to death for violating her human rights, her civil rights, the privilege of childhood, and her natural innocence. Maya says, I thought my voice killed him. I killed that man because I told his name. And then I thought I would never speak again because my voice could kill someone. What if our voices could kill genocide? What if our voices could annihilate economic disenfranchisement? What if our voices could end racism? The power of voice is the first transcendent treasure we encounter in Maya's life. The power to speak freely, to claim truth, to own reality, to declare justice, and to be at peace within oneself.
Yes.
All with a mere sound from the voice box. Expressing one's feelings. Voice. Validating our inner conscious experience. Voice. Vindicating our internal creative expression. Voice. And my brothers and sisters, this morning I ask you, are you using your voice to change the world? Are you using your voice to change reality? Are you using your voice to free someone? Are you using your voice to speak truth to power? Or are you using it to bind yourself and your neighbor? To enslave your people? Or to reduce life to mere mortality?
All right.
How are you using your voice? Maya's life, a transcendent treasure. A success story that is secretly possessed with the serum to the soul's simple sanctity of the human struggle.
All right.
A transcendent treasure, an immaculate mosaic of literary expositions likening to the lost souls on Gilligan Island that led to the lost pirates finding the lost treasure on Treasure Island. Yes, Maya is X marks the spot, a transcendent treasure. A bitter yet beautiful portrait displaying the divisive yet developmental, the catastrophic yet creative, the doomed yet destined woman who will utter billions of words that will transform, transpose, and translate the plight of Black America to the world so that we can be understood and appreciated. As we seek to accept, acknowledge, and appraise the worth of Maya's story, we must stop and appreciate and apprehend the feminine strength of the black woman. Our black women, my brothers and sisters, are transcendent treasures from their womb to the eyes, which are the gateway of our future, to their mind that gives birth to the conscious drawing board of our hope, a transcendent treasure. As we look at Maya's life, death, and literary legacy, we must acknowledge the vast components of her transcendent treasure. Someone say transcendent treasure. A transcendent treasure, tantalizing, tenacious, tender, tall, thrilling, and even tremendous.
Come on, Mark.
A transcendent treasure. I would like to highlight three main aspects of her transcendent treasure. A transcendent treasure for Maya Angelou was timeless. It was plagued with tragedy, but in the end it was triumphant.
All right.
A timeless transcendent treasure. It's eternal, bound by God's immortality, has a beginning but never ends. A timeless treasure. It's infinite, never ending. It's like the soul. No one can point to the day it was created. When God formed the world, when he formed your mother, when he formed your father, when he formed everything that would exist, the timeless treasure was created. My brothers and sisters, that timeless treasure that's in you has no beginning and has no end, and it will never die, regardless of what the media tells you, regardless of what you might feel, regardless of what you might hear. A timeless treasure will never die or never be deceased and never can be destroyed. A timeless treasure.
Mama.
To go with the timeless treasure, we must experience tragedy.
Yeah, man.
Tragedy. For the Greeks created a feeling of unpleasant, unwanted, untimely, unpredictable outcomes and feelings. A catharsis.
Come on, Mark.
A tragedy. Causing one to question God, who's acclaimed to be all good, all knowing, all powerful, all loving, but yet we don't live in a perfect, pleasant, and peaceful world. A tragedy, my brothers and sisters.
Come on,
when we have to watch the news to see our children slain in the street, when we have to hear about our women being murdered by cops, when we have to witness these piss-poor schools in Baltimore City, these inefficient governmental officials, we are living in a tragic world. We go to church on Sundays and have to hear the songs of God, the grace of God, but yet we experience these disastrous situations throughout the week. A tragedy. Maya says in her poem Alone, now if you listen closely, I'll tell you what I know. Storm clouds are gathering, the wind is going to blow, the race of man is suffering, and I can hear the moan, cause nobody can make it out here alone. It's a tragedy that I can't rely on my family, my friends, and my cousins, and my pastor, but yet I can't make it alone. It's a tragedy that the doctors are supposed to heal us, provide medicine for us, and tend to our needs, but yet they're killing us with the drugs they're giving us. It's a tragedy. We can't make it alone. It's a tragedy. Maya said it best.
All right.
We're restricted to a world where we are interdependently connected. Suffering, peace, struggle, success. But yet we can't make it on our own. A tragedy. Yeah. Maya says in her poem, A Caged Bird, the caged bird sings with a fearful trill of things unknown but longed for still. And this tune is heard on the distant hill. For a caged bird sings of freedom. We are bound to a cold world to experience hate, oppression, injustice, manipulation, dehumanization, economic suppression, political repression. Yet we are told we live in a democracy where we are free and have liberty. A tragedy. We're free humans who are enslaved by the American ideal of power, supremacy, racism, capitalism, imperialism. A tragedy. A triumphant tragedy, to be exact. A timeless treasure that's plagued with tragedy, but fails to die because it ends triumphant.
All right.
We know from history that the black man has been stripped of his place, his power, and poise in the world. And our communities, in our families, and even in our individual lives. But here we see with Maya Angelou, the black woman has failed to successfully be annihilated. That's because her timeless experience with tragedies has prepared her to triumph. Triumph is the result of never quitting or giving up. It is the result of destiny defeating destruction. Triumphant is the soul of Harriet Tubman, the mind of Mary McLeod Bethune, the fingers of Zora Neale Hurston, the fight of Shirley Chisholm, and the boldness of Michelle Obama. It is the fortitude of Sandra Bland, and yes, my brothers and sisters, say her name, Sandra Bland. Triumphant.
All right.
In Maya's most famous poem, Still I Rise, she says, you may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but like the dust, still I rise. You may shoot me with words, you may cut me with eyes, you may kill me with hatefulness, but like the air, still I rise. And my brothers and sisters, on this beautiful morning, I'm wondering, can you still say, still I rise? My grandmother had a 6th grade education, but here I can acclaim, still I rise. My grandfather was forced to leave South Carolina, move to Baltimore, forced to work for less than $4 an hour, but guess what? Still I rise. Still I rise. Can you say like Maya Angelou, still I rise? Like Maya said, still I rise. We must rise as a people today. Regardless of what the government gives us or doesn't, we must rise. We must revive our communities. We must restore our families, and we must replace the hate with love if we want to rise. Still I rise. We may encounter defeat, but we will not be defeated by defeat, because we will be triumphant. Like Jesus, they put him in the grave. Like Lazarus, he laid in the grave. But guess what? On a Sunday morning, we'll celebrate on Easter, on Resurrection Sunday, and say, still I rise. We see a black woman who was born in the 20s and died in the 21st century, and she said, still I rise. Black women couldn't be educated, couldn't read, couldn't work, couldn't have jobs. They were restricted to the house, but in the end, she said, still I rise. Inside of you, little black boy, inside of you, grandma, inside of you, granddaddy, inside of you, black man who watches the news and see that they're killing you day by day, but guess what? Still I rise. Maya Angelou, a transcendent treasure.
All right.